What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. We got some major news going on here as Vladimir Putin threatens attacking U.S. allies, and this could be a major escalation here in the war. We'll go over that here and so much more in this video. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any new videos. Things are just getting absolutely wild here as we're into the 20th month here of the war in Ukraine. Think about that, 20 months here. It's unbelievable here. And remember here that Congress just passed a 45-day stopgap as they barely got that done to fund the U.S. government. And there was no additional funding for Ukraine in there. And this presents problems in several different ways. One, it actually presents an advantage for Vladimir Putin and Russia, and a disadvantage for Ukraine, who's running out of supplies. And Vladimir Putin, take a look at what they're saying here. Yeah, Russia threatens direct attacks on U.S. allies over soldiers and tourist missiles here. Remember here that the vast majority of funding that goes for Ukraine is in the form of, missiles, ammo, tanks, jets, stuff like that here. Look at what Russia just said here. You can also see this headline here. Russia could target any British soldiers training troops in Ukraine. Russia's former president, Dmitry Medvedev, says. Yeah, so they're saying that they could literally target and kill British soldiers if they're there in Ukraine training them. And wow, so take a listen here. British troops training in Ukraine and German factories making Taurus missiles. Remember, the US is not the only country helping Ukraine. I think everybody should know that by now, but if you don't, you should know that by now. Most of Europe, if not the vast majority of Europe, is helping Ukraine defend themselves from Vladimir Putin and Russia. But troops training Ukraine, British troops, and German factories making Taurus missiles. Should Berlin provide Kyiv with long-range weapons, would be a legitimate target for Russian strikes, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev said. Now, if Russia were to attack these factories in Germany, that would be the start of World War III. Germany is a NATO country and the largest economy in Europe, actually. And that would be a declaration of war against NATO and the United States. Okay. The NATO pact says if you attack any country in NATO, it's a declaration of war against all the countries in NATO, 31 countries, almost 32 countries with Sweden. If you attack any of the countries in NATO, it's a declaration of war against all of them, including the United States. Germany is a country in NATO. And you can see here, United Kingdom, Britain, and Germany are helping Ukraine. Most of Europe is helping Ukraine. British Defense Minister indicated on Britain's Sunday Telegraph that London was in talks to move training and production of military hardware to within Ukraine's territory, saying, quote, I was talking today about eventually getting the training brought closer and actually into Ukraine. What the defense secretary was saying was that it might well be possible one day in the future for us to do that and to do some of that training in Ukraine. There are no British soldiers that will be sent to fight there in the current conflict as of now. But Russia said that this would be a legal target for Russia's military, including factories in Germany or maybe even any other military factories in any other countries. Medvedev said these personnel will be mercilessly destroyed. Medvedev currently serves as the deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council. The UK said what we are doing is currently training Ukrainians. We are doing that here in the UK. People will know for a long time that we've been training Ukrainian citizens and soldiers. We've been doing that here in Britain. We've taken a lead on that, and lots of other countries have joined our efforts, and it's making a huge difference. We will continue to do that. The RAND Corporation think tank last month suggested that certain events could accidentally escalate the war in Ukraine, including any future Russian strike on Ukrainian territory that killed NATO officials in the country. Medvedev also warned that should Germany make the decision to send Taurus missiles in Ukraine, Russian strikes on German factories where these missiles are made would be in full compliance with international law. NATO is adamant that it is not at war with Russia, but is supporting Kyiv against Moscow's invading another country. Should the war spill over into a NATO member state, though, a deliberate Russian strike, this could trigger the alliance's Article 5, in which an attack on one NATO country is viewed as an attack on all member states. Taurus missiles are broadly the same as the Anglo-French Storm cruise missiles that France and the UK have already sent to Ukraine. These allow Ukraine to strike further into Russian-held territory, complicating Moscow's air defense plans. You know, the other problem here is that if we think our government looks chaotic, look at Republicans and Democrats can't agree on anything, can barely pass a continuing resolution to keep the government open for 45 days, imagine what it looks like from Russia's point of view, or China's point of view, or North Korea's point of view, or Iran's point of view. Imagine how they look at the United States and perceive the United States from their point of view. Yeah, so this is the problem our Congress, our government looks like. And you know, the problem is that you could almost look at any single government in the world and find corruption or see corruption. It's like, you know, looking at the outside from the inside. And you could probably find corruption anywhere if you want to go looking for it. In the United States, in Russia, in China, in North Korea. Yeah. It's how high can you go? How smelly do you want to see it? You know, just looking through the looking glass, right? These are the problems, right? And we don't do ourselves any favors. You know, you look at our Congress; it's an absolute nightmare right now, and you really have to just go back down to the cores of humanity and look at good versus evil. And this is where you have to look at things. It's like, should we stop people from invading other countries and bombing and killing, you know, people's homes and people's, you know, hospitals and people's maternity wards and apartment buildings and, you know, hundreds of thousands of people that are living there, you know? And the problem is that, you know, we can barely even keep our government open. And these are the problems that we're facing right now. So you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here on a daily basis. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon. Thanks for liking and sharing. Click here to see the nationwide alerts coming on October 4th. Or click here to see my newest video next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.